Hello, this is a video for Math 2414 online course, spring semester 2018. And this is to kind of help you guide you through D2L and sort of help get you started and going in the course. So let's take a look here. And of course, you can get into D2L a couple different ways. You can get through My Lone Star, which also brings up everything, email and a bunch of other stuff. But if you don't want to mess with that, you can click on LSC Online, and right here class login, and then right below here a blue alternate login, and there we are. So I'm going to come down. Obviously yours won't look as messy as all the stuff I have here. Oh, let's find your class, which will be right there. Now your perspective will look a little different than mine. I'll come over here and change this to student mode. So let's take a look around, and I don't know what that start button does. I'll just kind of click across the top here, but main thing we're interested in is the content, the assessments, grades, and of course you always want to pay attention to this calendar over here to the right. And so I'm going to come over here to content. Oh, and of course on the last page with the news, where you'll see news items, any announcements or whatever. All right. So course content. Now I use this folder, course syllabus, other assorted documents. That's sort of like my general dumping ground for miscellaneous important stuff. Okay, let's take a look around in the content folder and see what we have. Let's take a look at the syllabus. Now let me show you a little trick, and this is for anything you want to keep from this class that you want to save for later or print. You have to, and don't want to also want to view it in that limited window. If you just come down here and there's a download button at the bottom of every file there. So you download it, and that turns it into a nice full screen viewable PDF. All right, let's hopefully didn't make too many mistakes here. So let's look at this. Okay, this is the distance learning. I want to make sure this was the right syllabus and wasn't for my face-to-face class. All right, let's see. My name's Smalley. Okay, who cares? That doesn't matter. Let's see. Yada yada yada. Email. Best way to contact me. Much better than phone. Okay, come through here. Okay, yada yada. We're gonna learn this, that, and the other. All right, textbook. The book that we're officially using now, which may not survive another year here, is this University Calculus Early Transcendentals 3rd edition. Not mandatory. This book's not mandatory. And it's only, I think, being used at the University Park campus of Lone Star, which is where I teach. If you're coming from a Cal 1 course where you used it, that's fine. Any book, I have a PDF you'll see here in a minute, Larson 9th edition, that anybody can use, a PDF of that book. My notes are kind of structured based on that. And if you've used this book, or actually if you've used any book that ties into my math lab, which is not required for this course, and assuming that Pearson still supports the book, it's not some old edition, I can set you up a blank course in my math lab to give you just access to the materials. No assignments or anything, but I can just set up a fake blank course and you can have access to the book and everything like that. But you can use any other book that you've used before. I don't blame anybody for not wanting to spend any money. But if you want to do the homework, you might want to use the Larson PDF book. So that's where my practice list suggests, problems to do. I'm not going to make a bunch of homework lists for a bunch of different books. Graphing calculator is good, but not a TI-89 or 92 or Inspire CAS. You can use an Inspire CX only, CX without saying CAS on it. Anything that can do algebraic capabilities is what I don't want. So obviously any TI-84, 84 Plus, whatever that new colorful one is, the CE I think it's called, any of those are fine. But I reserve the right to edit this list at any time too if I want to add others. I've got some videos done for this course. I'm going to be producing some more. Also, Khan Academy is a good site for videos. To use the Larson book with those homeworks, that's another reason this is good. There's a free website called calcchat.com. Basically, it's an online solution manual. Instead of just giving you the answer like at the back of the book would, it would at least show some steps. Now, granted, you may have questions about the steps. They may not show every step, so you can feel free to ask me. But at a minimum, it's better than just giving you the answer itself. You might see some sort of step in there and go, oh, okay, that's what I forgot to do, kind of thing. So you can use that as like a printed online solution manual. Homework. I have practice problems, like I said, tied into that Larson book, but no homework from any book or any MyMathLab is due. Your only assignments here will be done through D2L. So everybody's working from the same set of questions. You don't have to have a book to find the questions. We have 10 take-home quizzes, and I call them quizzes, more like homework sets. I always debate whether I want to change the name of them or not, because the reason why I kind of debate the name is because quizzes, most people will think that they're like live action, real-time quizzes. They're actually not. They're quizzes where you have access to the questions in advance. You work them out, so it's like homework. You work them out, then you'll go submit your answers electronically. So quizzes, homework, whatever you want to call it, it's called quizzes here. I just use quizzes mainly to distinguish it from just practice homework. So there's 10 quizzes. 4 of them are dropped, so your best 6 are averaged to form a quiz grade. So if you have 6 100s, you'll have a quiz average of 100. Now I'll come back to, and I'm explaining the quizzes business. Now I'm mentioning here when you go to enter your answers in D2L, I've seen every once in a while it might scramble the answer choices around. So be real careful when you're marking your answers in D2L. For example, if you know the answer to a problem is 2 pi, I don't care if 2 pi was A on the PDF file, but it's the third answer choice on the quiz itself, and you know the answer is 2 pi, then you pick 2 pi no matter where it's located. All right, so we'll come back to. Actually, I'll take a look at the quizzes now, then come back to the syllabus. I could have finished the syllabus first, but we'll just go back to this since I've already downloaded this. And the quizzes are down here. And there they are, 0 through 9. I went back, added the 0 without having to renumber all of them. Quiz 0 is actually a very important one because it's it's kind of derivative and antiderivative problems, sort of to help kind of get you up to speed a little bit to be ready for the Cal 2 content, just making sure you can do basic integration, differentiation. But anyway, so long story short, you click on the quiz, whether you print it or not, that's up to you, whatever you want to do there. But you see here are the problems, and so you work these out, and you will not go to the quiz. There's 10 of them. Every one of them have 10, by the way, so it's consistent. So you don't go to the quiz itself until you've completed all these. So you complete these. Yeah, so it's not like where you're submitting My Math Lab homework where you work a few problems, and save them, come back, work a few more. No, you can do that for the PDF problems, work them all out. But when you go into D2L, you submit them all at once. So here it would be under assessments, quizzes, and there it is, quiz 0. So you do not click on this quiz 0 until you're ready to submit all of your answers. I think I have a time limit of like 60 minutes, but keep in mind you're not actually taking the quiz at this point. You're just submitting answers, so it's probably going to take you less than 5 minutes. But don't rush. That's why I don't, I want to make sure that I don't want you to make a mistake, because if any of the answers are out of order, so that way you can go through it carefully, problem by problem. So no, it's not going to take that long to go through these. Now, I don't have everything up for the course right now. You'll see there's some of them that, well, this is from my point of view. Well, it's a student maybe, so I don't know what you would see here. But anyway, they're not active, so everything will be active, and then you'll see it also on the D2L calendar. But I've got enough to get you started, and there are the exams. The exams all have these little locks next to them because they're password protected. Now, notice these exams all have different deadlines. That means you have to take the test on or before that deadline, but after I've sent them, the testing centers have to have all the information first. So I haven't done that yet, but I'll do it soon. That means you can't go to any Lone Star Testing Center tomorrow and take an exam because I haven't sent it there yet. So keep in mind, now with the exception of ProctorU, which I'll talk about separately here in a minute, but for any other testing center, whether it's Lone Star or an outside testing center that I approve of, which means, your Uncle Bob's garage is not going to be approved of, but most of your major universities have nice testing centers. A&M, University of Texas, I believe Houston does, Sam Houston, which is very important. If you're going to be using an outside testing center, you have to contact me, figure it out quickly, contact me. Don't send me information or don't send it like the day before the deadline or anything. That would upset me. You need to figure it out quickly as possible, especially, and then once we have it, I can send them. Once I do it the first time, I can send them all the exams and get everything set up. But don't wait till the last minute for this first exam to give me information, like if you were going to use UT Austin, for example, or something like that. Now, you can change your mind. I don't think those testing centers, I don't know. I know they're going to charge you a fee. Lone Star, any Lone Star testing center is free, no appointment required. These outside ones might require appointments or anyway, but the point I'm trying to make is if they don't have like a cancellation fee or something, let's say you were going to take first test at A&M's testing center, and then you were going to happen to be in town and you wanted to use Lone Stars, you can certainly do that. You don't have to tell me, because the grade's going to be posted in D2L. That doesn't have to be worked out with me. I just have to know that if it's going to be an outside testing center, that they have the information. If you end up not taking it there, then that's no harm to me whatsoever. If you just go to a Lone Star, that's fine. So you see all the deadlines, but I strongly recommend, once again, this is not including ProctorU, which I'll talk about in a minute. It's not waiting until that last day, if possible, to take the test. It's really a smart idea if you plan like to do it a day or two in advance, in case something goes wrong, you get sick, whatever happens, car won't start. Remember, that's the last day to take it, not the only day to take it. So keep that in mind. Try not to use that last day and put yourself in a bind, inconvenience yourself, and not be able to take it. Alrighty, so let's go back to content here. We'll go back to the syllabus, and oh, that wasn't it. Where are you? Where did that syllabus go? Can't find it. thought it popped up as a PDF file. Great, I should just use the Word document so I'd know where it was. Let me just go back and, I guess that was it. Yeah. Oh, I see, okay. It says Microsoft Word, but it's a PDF file. It confused me. So where were we? We were talking about the quizzes. So the exams are proctored exams, in other words. All right. Now, something I'm doing different this semester, mainly because I'm incorporating ProctorU, and this is the best way for me to do it, to include them also. For the first 3 exams, you're allowed to use an 8.5 by 11 sheet of notes, one side only. For the final exam, you can use writing on both sides. So I'm going to include that in the instructions that I send the testing center. And I will talk about when I go back to, let me finish walking through the syllabus here first, when I'm almost done with that. Here's how you get a grade in this class. The quiz average, the best 6 out of 10 counts as a quiz average. It can replace the lowest of the 3 exams. There have been scenarios where I've seen the quiz grade, usually somebody's doing really well when that happens. The quiz grade is a little bit lower than the 3 exams, and it won't count. So the quiz grade doesn't have to count, but for, well over 90% of the people, you want the quiz grade to count. You want to do well there because it helps offset a poor exam. And because a lot of times students will ask me, especially in my face-to-face class or even online, they'll say, you are dropping the lowest grade. Well, I have to always word that clearly, that I'm not like dropping it automatically. It has to be replaced with the quiz grade. So in other words, usually exam 2 is the hardest of the exams in Cal 2. Let's say you did poorly on exam 2 and you didn't do the quizzes at all. Then something's going to have to count, one of those 2. So it's not dropped automatically. It's just replaced with a quiz grade. So that's different. That's different verbiage than what I would think of if somebody means drop the lowest. Drop the lowest means you drop it regardless. But no, the quiz grade replaces it. So those scores are all 25% each. The final is 25% each. And here's a lot. Okay, some of the stuff I've already mentioned: syllabus, video, combination of looking at notes, looking at videos that I produce. I'll make an announcement anytime I produce a new video. I'll see if I can get one in there quick enough, but I have to complete a couple other online certification things right now, so it might put me behind a few days here. But I've got notes which I'll show you here in a minute. So this is just suggestion. These are the exam due dates, which you can also see in the D2L calendar. Now, so here's some of the proctoring stuff I've talked about. So they automatically go to any Lone Star testing center. You need to verify what hours they're going to be open that day. Like I said, contact me quickly as possible if you're not using Lone Star, so I can get them the materials. But if you're using Lone Star, you don't have to tell me a thing. Just show up, take the test. Once I've indicated that I get to have the test already sent out, once they're there. Just make sure they're open there that day. I mean, that's your fault if they close at 8 and you show up at 6:30 and don't get the full amount of time. So obviously the amount of time that I allow you for an exam is always superseded by whatever time a testing center closes. That takes priority. So be careful, pay attention to that. So same thing with any, okay, I guess I didn't take this blurb out of my last syllabus for the winter mini, but obviously this isn't a winter mini class. It's a full spring semester. ProctorU, like I said, I'll make a news item announcement about that. ProctorU is a website where you can pay to have somebody stare at you through your webcam and watch what you're doing while you're taking the test. Kind of creepy, but I guess it's convenient for some people. I'm not totally sold on the security of it. So with ProctorU, versus the other deadline dates. The ProctorU exams will have to be taken on the deadline date, those dates. If that doesn't work for you one of the dates, you're going to have to make arrangements to use a testing center. So you could, for example, yes, in other words, same as I was saying earlier, if you were taking tests at a, let's say, UT Austin Testing Center, and we're going to want to take one at Lone Star, you can do that. Same thing with this service. I'm just a little concerned about the security issues of it, what information can kind of leak out. I'm not as, since you don't have proctors actually collecting your scratch paper and stuff, I'm a little concerned about that. So maybe I need to learn a little more about it, but for now we're going to say on that. Now when I say on that deadline date, though, I always set it up to be usually like anywhere starting time of anywhere between 8 a.m. and like 10 p.m. or something like that. One mistake I made during the winter mini that caused some issues, and I won't make that mistake again, is I'll always set the ProctorU deadline for like an hour before the official time that you see in D2L. So like if it says the test closes at 11 o'clock, on the ProctorU form, I'd make it 10 o'clock as the last appointment you can make, because I made the times the same, and there were people, it wasn't their fault, students or whatever, but they were scheduling appointments like 10 minutes before it closed, ProctorU closed, and by the time the ProctorU got all whatever set up from their end and got everything going, evidently it takes a few minutes. So I guess you got to show your webcam around the room. Anyway, long story short, the exam expired. So that way I'm going to be safe and set it for like an hour. So if you made an appointment at 10 o'clock, they can do whatever they've got to do, and it won't take them an hour to do it. So that way you'll be able to get in the exam safely and securely. So I'll try to make an announcement about that also too. So you can't go by the. Now, of course, 11 p.m. is going to be irrelevant for testing centers anyway. So if you're a student taking one at a regular testing center, 11 p.m. means nothing because they'll all be closed by then. So, but ProctorU is a little tricky. I think once I get them set up in ProctorU, you don't really have to get me all that involved as long as I have everything set up from my end. You strictly contact them, talk to them. But that's kind of why I'm going with the note sheet thing this time here instead of the formula sheet, which I'll show you in D2L. I've talked to a couple different people at ProctorU. They're not so sure, in other words, how they would be able to screen what's valid sheets. In other words, I could say they can use 4 sheets, but if they don't have a copy of it themselves, they don't know what to match it up against. So it sounds like, versus a regular testing center, they can just attach it to the test, they print it from there, they give it to the student, there's no issue there. But the student, if the proctor from ProctorU doesn't know what they're looking at, it's kind of, dicey. So that way, if I just say, okay, the student can show you a sheet of notes, 8 half by 11, and they can show that to you, and then show the proctor, and then show that all the other pages are using are blank, that's easier. So the proctor doesn't have to verify what's on the sheet, meaning you put everything on there. So that's the policy we're going to go with this semester. But you'll still be able to put all your formulas on there. That's it. You'll be able to put anything you want on there. So you're not being denied use of that same stuff. I'll show you. Okay, so the rest of this is just a bunch of Lone Star policies, yada, yada, yada. Okay, that takes care of the syllabus part of it. So let's go back to content here. Oh, actually, let me go back into the assessments. When you complete a quiz, it's going to show you your grade, but you can't review the results till about 24. I set it for like 24 hours after the deadline, not from the point when you take it, from after the deadline, just in case there's any technical issues via D2L. I need to extend the deadline, blah, blah, blah. So if you take it, you made a 90. Let's say you take it, like here, the quiz 0 comes up pretty quick, deadline January 31st, mainly because it's a review of Cal 1. So if you submit it, let's say on January 29th or something, you'll see your grade, but you won't see the result of it. You can't see that, so it would be the next day, February 1st, I believe, at 11 p.m. Let me double check that. I'll open this up and see. Well, I have to go back into faculty mode to show you that. But anyway, assume it's one day after that. But the tricky part on this is then once you do reach that deadline, how you actually look at it. Because a lot of people make this mistake. I would have made this same mistake. So you click on this blue thing to open up the quiz and submit it, but that's not how you view it. It seems like you would go back in there and click on it again to look at it, but that's not correct. You have to click on this drop-down arrow and you click on submissions. That's how you view your quiz. So if I go back over here to content, let me show you something. And you can always refer back to this. I have a file in this general folder here of syllabus and miscellaneous stuff here. Reviewing quiz and exam submission. This shows you just how to enter it in D2L. Just a couple of documents to help you there. So this tells you that same thing I was just telling you, to click on the drop-down submission thing. I'll open it up for a second here. So you can always come back to this and look at it. Yeah, there it is. See, it's telling you drop arrow, and you're going to have only one attempt, so then you can click on that. So that's a little tricky. That always throws people off, and I can see why it would throw me off too. I'd be clicking on that blue thing going, why aren't you opening up? But now I've also told you about the 1-day deadline too. So course intro, so there's syllabus, there's the textbook. I'm not going to change the final this semester. This is a list. When I say list of the problem, don't get excited. It's not giving you the actual test, but it will help you when you're studying. So when it'll tell you it shows you what problems to focus on, the problem type. Maybe I should have changed that title as list of problem type. So you see, it's also telling you what section in the Larson book it's coming from. So I guess that's a little misleading because it looks like it's giving you the actual questions. I know you wouldn't want to have it that easy. You want to work for it. But it's telling you, but it does make your studying easier though, because it shows you what to focus on. I don't do that for each of the individual exams because I want you to study the course reviews and exam reviews and know how to study, do everything on those reviews, but I like to trim it down, for the final. So we have the Larson 9th book. Also have the Larson 10th. I have homework lists for both of them. I only have the 9th edition PDF in there, so you have the 10th. Now going back to the formulas, like I was talking about now, I'm going with the process of you using your own personal sheet where you can mark them yourself. This is what I would have provided before, and you're still allowed to use them, but you'll just have to put them on a sheet yourself. That's the only difference. But obviously you can put whatever you want on that sheet. So you go through here, so obviously you can go through this, whatever you want. Now if you want to, so I'd keep an eye on this, because when you're studying, this is a good thing to refer back to when you're using this. Now what you can do is, you can sort of electronically snip and when you're making your note sheet, if you prefer handwriting, obviously you'll need to probably handwrite some examples, or you can cut and paste, or whatever makes you happy. So let's just say I did this. Let's see if this works okay. I wanted to snip this little block right here. Copy, paste. In other words, if you didn't feel like handwriting them, if you wanted to do it that way. And then like that, see, then you can kind of shrink them down, move stuff around, however you want it. No, it's up to you if you want to do it that way, or if you just feel like you'd rather write them. Totally up to you. So you see, you do have access, even though this is not provided with the exam. That just means, like before, when I wasn't allowing a personal note sheet, I would have provided this sheet. So then now you can kind of tailor it to what fits you best, what you need to know, or what helps you. But there's that sheet there. That's why I didn't want to just get rid of it, because I want you to have it there in case you wanted to paste and copy. A trig sheet. So obviously, I don't think, obviously you want to copy stuff out of the unit circle off of there, or just some base. You don't need every little thing in trig. We use the double identities a little bit, but most of the other stuff we don't. So But if you need it for any bits of the unit circle, or we do use the couple of sections, we do use the SOHCAHTOA stuff here, right here, the opposite override, but we use that part of it, and the unit circle. But a lot of this stuff down here, we don't use all of these. We don't need any of that. Alrighty. So I think that takes care of that folder. So always just come in here, look around, not going to hurt anything, see what kind of stuff I've got posted here. Like I said, that's kind of a general formula because it's not specific to any one idea. So we've clicked on the quizzes. I'll also put these Cal 3 notes in there. I'll see if they're updated because students have asked about those. So that means if you want those for future, take them if you want them, because I showed you a minute ago how you click on it. You just got to click that download button down there at the bottom of the file to download it to PDF, and keep whatever you want here. Lecture notes. So you can see the all the notes are organized by exam. So you see, you want to know what sections are from that Larson book are going to be exam 1. Obviously, you can match this up with another book that you're using, but this shows you exactly the content that will be on the exam, so there's no mystery there. Here it is for exam 2. You can see all that. Here's exam 3. And then there's 4 sections here at the end that aren't on exam 3, but they're on the final. There's like probably 3 questions or so on the final from this material. So that's why I listed them separately, because they're not specifically on the final. I mean, they're not on a regular exam, but they are on the final. I put some Cal 1 notes, and then I put important notes. I guess I could have put all the notes, but the reason why is, frankly, the main things you need in this class, very, very important. A lot of things from Cal 1 you're not really going to need. Related rates, who cares? Optimization, don't need it. But limits are important. Limits are important, but derivatives and integrals. Basic derivatives and integrals, that is the key foundation for this, at least the first 2 elements, first 2 tests. The third test is kind of a completely different topic altogether with sequences and series. But for exam 1, exam 2, you've got to be proficient in basic derivatives and antiderivatives, or you'll have no chance of learning more sophisticated techniques. So that's why I have those notes posted there if you need to look at those. I've got some pre-cal notes. I've got some videos. I have a bunch of Cal 1 videos, so you can even look at them, if you want to review some of that. I'll be expanding this list as we go. I'll be adding videos as we go. I already have one for 5.6 I need to put in there. I'll add to that. I'll make an announcement anytime that I've added a new video, so you'll know. So I'll keep building this list as we go. Now so each exam has exam reviews. Now the exam reviews have complete sets of videos. The final may not, does it? I don't know. Oh yeah, no. Yeah, I guess it does. Yeah, okay, it does for the final also too. But see, you go to this folder. So here we go. Sample problems for exam 1. Don't worry about that saying spring 17. Just means I haven't changed it. There it is. So that's just a list of problems. You open that up. You want to practice solutions right here. Now the sample problems, I think, have answers at the end of the test. They have answers. Solutions means my worked out solution. So you click on this and shows how I did it. And then these videos are a verbal explanation of the solutions, my handwritten solutions. So it's me walking through there and just talking through the solutions, explaining them. So obviously, if you understand my written solutions and don't need the video, that's fine. So you see, got about exam 1. So like here's exam 2. There's original sample problems. There's my worked out solutions. There's the videos. I have these kind of split up because I was having some issues at the time. I was making these videos kind of crashing on me, and it's pretty frustrating to put in all that work to do like a long video and then have it crash. Plus, I get tired of talking after a while too. So I did them as little smaller sections of problems at a time, so that way, easier to save them and not worry about putting in 2-hour video than watching it not be able to get itself rendered properly. That was really frustrating. So here's all that. So you got a whole library of stuff here. So there's Cal 3 notes. So let's see if I think I've got everything mentioned here. I've talked about the quizzes, exam reviews, lecture notes, lecture videos. Talked about ProctorU and then the testing center. So I kind of believe that kind of should cover everything. Get everything going here. So I wish you the best, and I'm only an email away when you need my help. So good luck to you, and